Okay, let's get started. This is Planning and Development Committee. First item on our agenda is approval of our minutes from August 9.
Approval.
Second.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions or changes? Hearing none, all those are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First item is P1, approval of a request for an extension of the expiration date of the planned development at 631-749 Chicago Avenue.
Move approval.
Second.
Alderman Nguyen, do you have any comments?
Briefly, Madam Chair, this is the Amley development south of Kedzie, and it's a development that will be for rental property. It came to us before the economic crisis hit, and because it's rental, if anything is developed in the next few years in Evanston, this would be our most likely development. And it was prepared with the best amount of community involvement that I've experienced on the council in my ward. So I really would like to continue this. We get regular updates from the Steve Ross of Amley, and as we're hoping that when the finance markets begin to thaw and things begin to turn around, that we'll see this project develop.
I remember all of what you just said, and I appreciate your comments. Anybody else want to make a comment? I think we're all in full support of this. All those in favor of recommending this to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next item is approval of allocation for Family Promise Chicago North Shore, Inc., a program from the McKinney Emergency Shelter Grant. The amount we are being asked to approve is $6,000. It's a family shelter program.
Second.
Any discussion? Alderman Holmes.
I'm going to vote for this, but I would really like to have regular updates since this is a new program. So I would like to be kept abreast of what's going on.
Yeah.
And can I get some clarification?
Alderman
Madam Chair?
Jean-Baptiste.
How does Family Promise provide transportation?
What staff member is going to be responding?
On our way.
Alyssa Dean is going to address the issue.
Good afternoon. Family Promise provides transportation with a van that they use to carries about 14 passengers.
Do they have a van to provide that? Okay. Thank you.
I have a question on page 192. One of the paragraphs begins, Family Promise Chicago North Shore, Inc. is a new homeless program to the Evanston area, and they are seeking funding to support the shelter. What shelter are we talking about?
Family Promise is considered a shelter definition through HUD. So in order to provide them with funding, it has to be considered a shelter. And that's the
What we were
definition.
told is that it complied with the definition of an office. And so that's why there's no variation or special use required.
But at any time you are housing anyone, whether it's night or day, it is considered a shelter.
Okay, and that is exactly the question I asked whenever the last time was we discussed this. I asked how what we had in Evanston, I think it's on Payne, on Payne
Right, it's on
Street,
Payne,
how that is different from a day shelter. And I was told it's not a day shelter, and now you're saying it is. I really think all I want to know is what's the truth. What are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with a shelter? Are we dealing with a drop-in center? I don't care what we're dealing with, but our zoning department is evidently being told one thing, and we're being told another. So that's my confusion. It says right here in black and white in a city memo that it's a shelter. Then another thing that I want to ask about, and if you can't answer these right now, maybe by the time we have our council meeting, on page 191, it says, when we're talking about the McKinney Emergency Shelter funding, it says the final year allocation is $85,730. This figure represents a decrease of $190 from last year's allocation of $85,920. Is that for some reason significant? I wasn't sure. I mean, it just seems like,
The entire program budget was the 85,730 last year, so that's, I don't know, how many different programs are funded from that 85,000?
a lot. I know.
4 or
it's a
5.
lot.
So, I mean, that's the only significance that I attributed it to, that we had a slight decrease in funding year over year for the program.
Well, I would like and I know you're in charge of community development now, but I would like somebody to resolve the issue of what we're dealing with. Is this a shelter or isn't it?
With the answer in zoning speak, that we have the right, that we're in the right zoning for what we're saying the use will be.
Well, but that's because we're calling it an office.
I understand, but that's what you're looking for, though, when I go
I
to
just
look
want
in between
I
meetings.
just want us to know what it is. I mean,
Alderman Rainey,
I'm sorry.
I did do follow-up before this, after the last meeting, in terms of with Mr. Dunkley, with zoning, and also with Ms. Dean. And my understanding is that since the clients are brought there between 8 and 5, they go to churches for the overnight piece. But according to HUD's definition, and using HUD's dollars, it has to be called a shelter. Is that correct? That was my understanding.
Well, I don't mind tricking HUD, but I don't want to trick zoning.
Well, I don't think it's tricking them. I just think it's falling under that
All right,
definition.
all right. I don't think
Because
we're ever
you remember
gonna-
we talked about the food, and they don't, because I wanted to know about a kitchen and all of that. So I did check all of that out.
What's the long-term goal for these families? Just to keep
To-
bussing them back and forth?
No. They have 45 days that they can remain in the program, and during that 45 days, they try to transition them out to be independent, live on their own.
With jobs? I mean.
Jobs, housing.
Okay, all right. Well, it's $6,000, so there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor of recommending the allocation of $6,000 to the council, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next item is a request to approve redevelopment agreement for the NSP Neighborhood Stabilization Program 2 and a program update. Can I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All righty. Anybody from our staff want to speak to this at all?
Dennis Marino will
see,
speak briefly.
Bryn Shore is here with us.
Yes, thank you, Alderman Rainey. My name is Dennis Morita. I'm the Assistant Director of the Community and Economic Development Department, and it's my pleasure to introduce the Bryn Shore staff that's here tonight, and also city staff that's working on NSP2. We have David Brent with us from Bryn Shore, and also Todd Lieberman, and of course you know Sarah Flax and Jolene Saw from the city. You received a memorandum in your packet that summarizes the progress of the program currently, and the program is very much underway and in the acquisition stage, and this has been based on a number of interim agreements, some of which were part of our initial proposal to HUD that was funded for approximately $18 million. What you have in front of you tonight for consideration is a redevelopment agreement that staff is recommending approval of that basically includes all facets of the program. So that's something that is very important for us to move forward on if that's your wish tonight. And also David Brent is available to answer any questions related to the specific roles for Bryn Shore. But we're pleased by where we are at this point. We have a tremendous amount of work to do. We're also very excited about the bid packages being released at the end of the month so that a number of Evanston subcontractors can begin to bid on the jobs that will be available at that time, and we're very excited about Bryn Shore's performance in other cities in the past in that regard.
Thank you. I know that both Alderman Holmes and I have had conferences with the developer, and the progress being made is good. And for those who don't know, this is the purchase of 100 units of housing in just 2 census tracts in the city of Evanston, one in the 8th Ward and one in the 5th Ward. And this is for the purchase of foreclosed vacant properties, either rentals or home ownership properties. So we're looking forward to getting the foreclosures off the tax rolls, so to speak, or putting them back on the tax rolls. So if anybody has you want to say anything?
No, we're ready to go.
Let's keep going. Yes, Alderman Jean-Baptiste, we're sorry. Oh, I think a piece of it is in your ward.
Small
Yeah.
piece.
And a little piece is in the 9th Ward, I think, too. 2nd Ward and the 9th.
And-
No, and the 9th. In the 9th.
I just wanted to get some clarification.
Is your mic
Mic
on?
I can't hear you.
Thank you. I need some clarification. It's page 205. When we have the cost of acquisition plus the cost of rehab, seems like for single-family homes, it comes to approximately $250,000. Is that correct? Per home?
Yeah, I'm going to
From
ask,
purchase
David,
to on the
sorry.
market, ready to rent or sell?
Dave, use the microphone.
Renovation,
Excuse me, Alderman.
purchase, and then renovation. It's about $250,000.
That will be the total all-in cost, correct. It won't necessarily be the sale price, but that'll be the all-in cost.
And the sales price then,
Will be affordable under 120% of the area median, so it'll be under $200,000.
okay. So, all right, so the cost of purchase and repair is not going to be,
No,
it's
that's
not going
that's
to
the whole point.
dictate
Right,
the sales price.
correct.
All right. The other thing is, I don't know where I read this, but there was some report on the number of units that have already, title companies that you have operating who have done title searches. I saw Attorney Title as an underwriter and another one. Are any of these women-owned, or maybe even the real estate contract, women-owned, minority-owned, Evanston-owned businesses?
Well, to our knowledge, there are no Evanston-based title companies.
company,
And
right.
so, and the
REI
seller usually
closed.
picks the title company. So since there weren't any Evanston-based title companies, we didn't protest.
Okay, what about the realtors? The realtors and then the legal providers,
The,
legal service
well,
providers for...
the lawyers that are representing us are Evanston-based.
Okay.
And in terms of the realtors, we will be using, there's 2 parts of it. One will be in terms of marketing the properties that we acquire, and we believe we'll be using a local division and mostly all local people of a national organization for our marketing. And then, obviously, any buyer, any Evanston brokers who bring people to buy a property will have a commission.
Sure. The buyers will bring their own attorneys.
Sure.
But when you sell, you have a
Evanston,
local...
Evanston, it's the Evanston
brokers?
office of a national company.
Evanston office of a national company?
Yes.
Okay, and...
We
had-
think.
what is
We're
it?
working on that right now.
If I could just, we had a meeting, there was a meeting of all
Realtors.
Evanston Realtors. The room was jam-packed.
Right.
Seems like everybody who wanted to know about it was there and was involved, right? We were at the meeting?
That was the one with, the one.
Well, it was a lot of brokers, yeah. I mean, it wasn't just
lot of
all one
brokers,
company,
yes.
yeah.
And we've met with many of the local companies, and we've met with many of the local brokers.
Right. I know that there've been a number of discussions with minority contractors. To what extent, right now, you're just purchasing. you're not in the phase of letting any contracts for rehab or anything like that, right?
Well, that'll be next week.
Okay. All right. And then I suppose we would be getting some report pretty soon thereafter, as to how we're doing in terms of the MWEBE participation at that level.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And when might we get that? A month from now, 30 days, 45 days?
Yeah, 45 days.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay. All right, thank you very much. So all those, we have a motion on the floor to recommend this to the council. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is granting a major variation relating to building height to permit construction of a multifamily residence located at 1910 Hinman Avenue. Could I have a motion?
Move approval.
Alderman Nguyen, pardon me.
It's 9.
I'm sorry, 910 Hinman Avenue.
I would ask the committee's, this came to us with the ZBA recommendation of 2 feet above the permitted amount. The developer has requested additional height to that, and the reasons are because there's a significant grade change from the alley point of the property to the sidewalk, and they need the additional height because of water detention purposes, and also to prevent requiring a step down into the first floor. The staff has recommended, I believe it's 54.8 feet, and I've met with the developers from the first moment, and this is the site of a property which was originally a single-family home years ago, became broken up into apartments, utterly dilapidated, rodent-infested, a problem property. It was boarded for a long time. We pushed the bank to sell it, and this is a welcome new development at this site. So I would urge the members of the P&D to accept the staff's recommendation and not the ZBA's.
Okay, and the difference there is the Spark and staff recommendation is 54 feet 8 inches, and ZBA is recommending 52, and you're encouraging, would you like to make an amendment?
I move
think
that
need-
we accept the staff's recommendation that the development at 910 Hinman be permitted to have a height of 54.8 feet.
Could I have a second? Okay. All those in favor of recommending the amendment, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All those opposed? All right. All those in favor of recommending the amended ordinance for introduction, say aye.
Aye.
All, okay, so that's it.
Yeah,
All right.
by acclamation.
Moving right along. Update on Evanston foreclosure activity, an excellent report we received today. Excellent. Really appreciate that. Any comments or, Ms. Esther, are you waiting to speak on this?
She on the list.
Okay. Pardon me, on P3? I didn't, I saw the sheet, but I didn't see that you signed. All right, well, come on. I'm sorry, we've already passed over it, but if you'd like to speak.
That's okay.
We still have council meeting, so,
Yes. If it was for introductory, I would have stepped away and not to deal with it, but since it's going for action, this is something that is called the Emerson Square. If you remember, most people probably know it better as the West Side Master Plan. And when we went through that process and we talked, and the neighborhood talked, and we felt that, and we was promised that before any development actually started in there, that we would, meaning we, the community, the people that had came out and spoke, those in favor and those against. There was 160 people within 500 feet of the development boundary that says they did not like the proposal and plan of the West Side Master Plan and would like to have more input as to the type, height of buildings that would go in that section. In reading the information that was in the package, I see that it says that you have site control, which means either you have an option to buy, or you own it, or that you're doing it in partnership with a developer. At that time, it was looking forward to be partly developed by the Cyrus Homes. I don't know where that is, really don't care. All I'm asking is that you keep your promise when you said that you would bring it back to the community and we would talk. If you notice in my objection to the NSP2, I had wrote that home funds should not be used to develop that TIF area when you can use TIF dollars to do that. My objection is still to that, but please honor your promise to the residents that you would bring it back and talk. Yes, I know my alderman bring us up information and stuff at a ward meeting, but that's not a comprehensive meeting of the residents around that area. I ask that we have our chance to have our voice heard, since it was not fully heard at the time the West Side Master Plan was done. Thank you.
Don't leave the podium yet. The plan development, the redevelopment agreement on our agenda tonight is not the new construction project that you're talking about. It is the purchase and renovation of foreclosed vacant properties. So Alderman Holmes will
I was just going to say, it's a phase one.
definitely
not
get
two.
in touch with you about that. That's different money and a different project.
No, I know what this grant is, but it's leading up to
All right.
the Emerson Square. So I'm getting before that to let you know, we want our meeting.
Okay.
So want you to know that we want it. And you're promising that we will have it, Alderman?
Alderman Holmes will have
Well, you
it.
know, I will have it. Whether people come or not, Betty, that's up to them, but I will have the
No,
meeting.
just have it, and we'll worry about getting the people there, okay?
She will have it.
Thank you.
I'm certain of that. All right. Thank you very much. Anything else, committee members? Anything on the foreclosure report that we didn't discuss? Okay, nothing. All right. All right. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The council meeting will start in 20 minutes. Is that
No,
correct?
we were going to.
15? All right. Right around 8 o'clock. Where's Dennis?